Hello everybody, Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck Master here, Jason, here to bring to you my new and improved version of the Gouki OTK deck. Now this is going on a little bit of speculation come the next set. I think it's Eternity Code or something like that. The set that comes out in May. We're getting a lot of Gouki support, you know, a level 1, a level 2, and a new Link monster. I'm also thinking Gouki Finisher, the key card for this deck, will be released as an OCG TCG exclusive, just because Konami's just like, love, 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 love. Even the special editions, like, here's a Gouki and let's super rare one of them. So, I mean, I'm leaning towards that, but if Finisher doesn't come out, the deck will not, of course, be able to be played until it does. Okay, you're looking at this and it looks like a jumbled mess. I will, of course, show some play hands and explanations at the end of the video. It'll be through Dueling Book because it's hard to do solo stuff on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, but I will upload some duels from Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro when I get the chance. I have all the cards except for, of course, the cards that ain't released yet. Okay, so we first start off with the oddest of the choices, Cyber Tutobon. Now you're sitting there going, why the fuck are you playing this card? Well, it's very, very simple. Tutobon's effect. You can special summon this card from your hand by tributing a warrior. End of story. The rest of the effect, just imagine it's blank. There's a period. This is if you open like a lot of extra extenders or like extra normal summons and you're sitting there going, I can't use all these normal summons because you only get one per turn. Go ahead and tribute one off to summon her. And she is a warrior. So it helps because the whole concept of the deck is you need to get 2 Goukis on the field. Now, when Suprex is available, you can just go Gouki Gouki if you have them in your hand. But if not, you got to go through the Assault route, which is a Gouki and an extender, and it leads into usually the whole meta thing that was ran, where you summon out through Assault's effect to send an equip card, summon out a level 1, and then you special summon Headbat and go into Jet Ogre, and then you go from there into your combos, which I will, as I said, show at the end of the video. So this is, in case you don't open Suprex, this is an extender. Gouki Suprex. All Goukis in this deck are Earth, level 4 or lower, 0 defense. And they all have the key effect that if they're sent from the field to the grave, they can search a Gouki card besides a copy of themselves, once per turn. He also has the extended effect that when he's normal summoning, he can special summon a Gouki from your hand. Then you have Goblinberg, which is basically the same damn thing, except you'll need a Gouki to summon. When normal summon, special summon a monster from your hand, it goes to defense. This goes to defense, and, you know, warrior. There you go. Blue Mountain Butterspy, simply put, you normal summon a Gouki, special summon this card from your hand, because whenever a warrior is normal, or, normal summoned, you can special summon this card from your hand. I would advise defense mode, just in case things go wrong, since it is 0 attack. Twist Cobra, mostly just another name and another level for rematch, but its effect can come in handy. Besides its search effect, it does have a quick effect where it can tribute a Gouki, and this is cost, I think. No tribute. Yeah, it's tribute 1 Gouki monster, then target 1 Gouki monster you control. That's cost. So you can tribute itself or any other Gouki you control. Then the Gouki you target gains that monster, the tributed monster's attack until the end of the turn. It's an OTK deck. You know, every attack point counts. This doesn't come up often, but it can come into play from time to time. Of course, you got 3 Junk Fords because it special summons from your hand when you control no monsters. Extender. And then we get into the new Goukis. Gouki Iron Claw. Besides the search effect, this card actually, if you have a lot of the key cards in your hand, you want to search this out. What it does is during the damage step, if a Gouki monster you control battles an opponent's monster, you can send this card from your hand to the grave. That monster gains 500 attack until the end of the turn. Technically, it also becomes unaffected by all the opponent's card effects, but that effect doesn't kick in until the damage step, so by then your opponent would probably have already got rid of your shit by card effects. But the 500 boost, like I said, OTK deck, every point counts. And that can literally, help a little bit of a boost. Plus, it also has the search, and it's a low level, so you don't have to run with Scorpio or Bear Hug. Fuck those cards. You run 1 Headbat because Headbat is only good with the Assault combo. You want to Summon a Sold, use a Sold's effect to search out a Gouki that you don't give a shit about that turn. And then the Gouki you use to summon a Sold will search out Headbat. You'll use Isolde's effect to summon out either the new level 1 or Octo Stretch by sending an equip card, reveal Headbat, discard the Gouki that you searched from Isolde's effect to special summon it, getting 2 Goukis on the field, allowing you to go into Jet Ogre. You don't really want to draw more because, of course, Headbat can't search out Headbat. It does have an effect where it boosts the monster after special summoned by 800 attack, but that effect does not matter one bit. And then you got 2 Gouki Guts. This is the one that in the special edition will be super rare. It's a level 1, so it can also be an assault target, which is nice. While in defense position, it can't be destroyed by battle, so I guess if you brick really bad, you can set it. It has a second effect that during the main phase, you can have all Goukis gain 200 attack permanently. That effect will never come into play, really, ever. And then it has the search effect. More so, it's just a level and a name. And then you have 2 Octo Stretch. Originally, you'd run 3, but with Guts, you know, 2/2's fine. Octo Stretch, besides the search effect, is a hand trap. You can have the battle damage from 1 attack or the burn damage from 1 card effect by half by discarding it. Doesn't come up too often, but hey, you know, if you're going to be OTK, you know, hey, have the damage. Why not, you know? Total count is 24 monsters. Of course, you run instant fusion times 3 because you need to see those extenders as much as possible, so you can kind of work through the hand trap aspects. This is a going second deck after all. And your target for that is Invoked Rajan because of the Book of Moon effect it has. It can disrupt things, especially since this deck will not be viable till Master Rule Revision. And, you know, people have Exceed Synchros and Fusions just kind of spermed out all over the field. So you can just kind of book something, you know, get a little advantage. Reinforcement of the Army. If I have to explain to you why this is in the deck, you need to drink a V8. We'll come back to Finisher. Rematch, basically you run 2 because if you're forced to go first, you're going to search out Rematch, and then go into one of your Gouki cards that can help buy you a turn, and then use the other Rematch to go for the OTK. And if you're going second, you'll search out Rematch and Finisher to go for the OTK. But you have one in there just in case either your play gets stopped, or if you're forced to go first, you have a second option. 2 Called by the Grave, hand traps. Tried 3, but you know, I'm already running 42 cards, just didn't have the room. 3 Prohibition. I'm going to skip ahead to this one. Prohibition. Activate by declaring a card name. Cards with that name and their effects cannot be used, but cards already on the field are unaffected by this, including face down. What is this for, you might wonder? Well, call Nibiru, or Impermanence. Or, if push comes to shove, you can call Ash Blossom. Either way, your opponent ain't using those cards, because this deck will fall hard to Nibiru, and Call by the Grave don't stop that, but this does. And you do not come back from Nibiru, usually. So, this really does help. In most cases, anyway. I run 1 equip spell, Horn of the Unicorn. I know you're thinking, what the fuck is this guy smoking? Horn of the Unicorn is very interesting. The equipped monster does gain 700 attack and defense, but that's irrelevant. The thing that makes it interesting is when the card is sent from the field to the grave, mandatorily, it stacks to the top of the deck. Why is that good? If you open it in your opening hand, you summon your 2 monsters, equip 1, and then link off into your link plays. And after all the effects resolve, this stacks to the top of the deck, allowing Isolde's effect to always guaranteedly work. You will never, ever have Isolde as a dead card, unless, of course, you know, I don't know, this has prevented DD Crowed or some shit when it goes to the grave. Deep-Seated Sword does something similar, but it doesn't matter how it's sent to the grave, it goes to the top of the deck. Meaning that if your opponent stops your play, come your next turn, even if you send it by Isolde, you're bricking a dead card. This only works if it goes from the field to the grave, so once Isolde mills it, it's gone for good. And then, of course, 2 Shades of Brigadine because it becomes a level 4 warrior for extender plays. And then Super Poly for Super Poly. It's Master Rule Revision, you know, you can Super Poly. Enough said. Now, to go to Gouki Finisher. What does Gouki Finisher do? Or whatever the TCG name will be. Well, this allows you to target one of your Gouki Link monsters you control. Until the end of this turn, it gains attack equal to its Link rating times 1,000, And if it does, it can inflict piercing damage for the rest of the turn. But only Goukis can attack this turn. And you can only activate one per turn. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, well, okay, if only Goukis can attack, I mean, sure, you might get a big beefy monster that can pierce, but how's that going to OTK? You know, let me get to it. Extra deck is simple. You have 3 super poly targets, Starving Venom. I went with Deplexer just in case, you know, other Cybers monsters kind of make it, or Cybers archetypes, you know, Agnister or whatever, make it big. This is good all around. And then Mud Dragon. And then, of course, Rajan for that. Abyss Dweller is possible because you do run quite a few level 4s. Butter Spy, Goblinberg, and Shades of Brigadine and Suprex are all level 4s. And keep in mind, Rematch can bring them back. And Dweller is Dweller. Abramax is in here simply put if you either don't open any Goukis or your opponent stops all your Gouki swarms, but you can still get a Link 4 on the field, he's a good option. Then for your you know, you got Isolde and Phoenix, enough said for them, and everything else is kind of combo oriented. So we will start from the bottom here. Jet Ogre, your stepping stone, requires 2 Goukis. This is the thing you go into to get into your other cards. The only effect of this card that matters is that when it leaves the field, the Gouki monster that you link summon out, as well as any already on the field, gain 500 attack for the rest of the turn. That 500, yet again, OTK deck, every 100 points counts. Nightmare Unicorn, well, it spins a card, but it also is key combo for part of the OTK if you go the Blade Ogre route. Blade Ogre. Blade Ogre has a simple effect. The only thing that really matters with him is if you Jet Ogre him, he goes to 29 instead of 24. You finish him, he goes to 59, and then his effect allows him to tribute a monster he points to attack twice, and it can be on either side of the field. Now, the problem is if your opponent doesn't have a monster right at that extra monster zone, what the fuck are you tributing? Well, it just so happens Nightmare Unicorn has a down arrow while he has an up arrow, so you can go into Unicorn, spin a card, and then tribute Unicorn to attack twice at 5,900, and don't forget you pierce. Master Ogre will go to 33, and then due to finisher, gain 4,000 because he's a Link 4, making him 73, and his effect that matters is he can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Again, you do pierce. And these 2 are more for if you go first, but can be good in certain situations outside of that. Power Load Ogre. This card will not work with finisher. It's not part of the OTK, but if you're going against a stun deck or control deck that's all back row heavy, Guru, Altergeist, whatnot, this card is unaffected by card effects if it's Link summoned. Yeah, he's 2,800, so the odds of your opponent beating over him if he's running a control deck is pretty low, and those compulses or solemn strikes or warnings or whatever, well, warning wouldn't work, but anything that could affect him after he's on the field, you know, he just kind of shrugs off and goes, nice try. And if you're going against a monster-heavy deck, you know, not much back row, but a lot of monster bashing and swarming, Gouki the Giant Ogre, who's kind of your MVP of the deck, is your go-to card. For those that don't know, Gouki Giant Ogre does require 3+ Goukis, so, you know, Jet Ogre plus 2 other Goukis. He's a Link 4. He cannot be destroyed by battle. He is unaffected by the activated effects of your opponent's monsters with attack less than or equal to his current attack. He is 3,000, meaning Dingirsu could come out and he would go, what you trying to do there, boy? Because anything weaker or equal to his attack, he just kind of shrugs off. And if you happen to use finisher on him, he can get really strong and therefore, you know, becomes unaffected by even more. If he would be targeted, or a card he points to would be targeted by a card effect, you can make him lose exactly 500 attack, and if you do, it negates the activation. Key thing to note, this is not once per turn, or even once per chain. You can spam this thing 20 times in a single chain if you wanted to. Well, okay, maybe not 20 times, 6 times, I guess, because then he would have no attack points. But you get the, you get the point. And you can protect anything he points to in himself. So can't be targeted, can't be destroyed, and is unaffected by most monster effects. Hard to fucking kill. unless you got a lot of back row, take them out. Back row mass removal is the thing he's the weakest against. So, you know, Monster Mash decks usually don't have that. He also has a quick effect that during either player's turn, if his attack is ever different than his original, higher or lower, I can boost him by 1,000 until the end of the turn. So, say you impermanence him upon summon, I make him lose 500, he goes to 25, well now I boost him to 35 till the end of the turn. Good luck. Obviously, side deck options, you know, will change depending on the format then, but as of right now, I'm thinking these would be the most likely. Nibiru, because, you know, it's Nibiru. Mind Control, always good. And you run Dark Ruler No More in here because if your opponent goes first and you know they're going to set up a big board, you can break the board and then either go for Giant Ogre or Power Load Ogre and kind of end on that, since you can't OTK on that turn, and wait till the following turn. You'll have taken away a lot of their resources, they won't have anything left, and you'll have this monster on the field they got to try to figure out how to get rid of. Oh, well, of course, Power Load probably not as much, because Dark Ruler No More would be more used for if you're going for Giant Ogre, but you get the point. Twin Twister and the one reboot, and I guess evenly matched to some degree in this as well. For back row decks, though evenly can be used for Monster Mash decks too. Same concept, you evenly them, main phase 2, kind of go for either Power Load or Giant Ogre, and kind of just wait till your next turn to OTK. So that's kind of the concept of the deck, is just you kind of clear your opponent's field best you can, and then either go for Blade Ogre or Master Ogre, boost them up to God and attack, and just basically make your opponent plea for mercy as you beat them relentlessly with the Still Chair. You know, that's, you know, it's pretty straightforward and simple. Caveman smash. But it is quite effective. And people don't read cards well enough that you will probably get a few good shots in before people go, wait, what? Why didn't that work? So let me know what you think. I'll go ahead and show you some of the combos in just a sec. All right, y'all, so we're going to start off with our hand testing. Of course, as you know, I'll go through the combos and explain them as we go. This will start off with if your opponent has multiple monsters on the field, this is the type of combo you will go into to kind of OTK your opponent. Like I said, in most cases, if you don't have Suprex, all you need is, if you have Suprex, you can go Gouki straight in, just bypass the Assault concept. But if you don't have a way to get to Suprex, you can just straight up go the Assault route, which is just one Gouki, one Extender. Or if you just feel like going that route, it's fine too. Obviously here we'll summon one Suprex, one Guts, and special summon Butter Spy. We could have also special summoned Junk Forter if you're worried about hand traps for an extra Extender. But, you know, I mean, you don't really need to commit that much if you don't want to. But you can. So, you know, the main concept, we're just going to show it off the way it's supposed to be shown off. The Assault route, you get the concept otherwise. So, obviously, we're going to link away the Butter Spy and the Gouki Suprex. We're going to go for Assault. Yeah, you could have gone for Guts, like I said, and just bypass the whole Butter Spy aspect. But, you know, hey, it's just showing off the route we can take here. So, of course, you summon it there. Effects are going to chain, you know, Suprex's effect in this case, then Assault's effect. You always want Assault to activate last on the search, because in this case, if it gets Ash, no biggie, you have others you can do. And usually, Assault will search a Gouki you don't mind discarding since you can't summon it that turn, or use its effects. So in this case, something like a Twist Cobra would be great. And then usually the Gouki you use as link material would summon Headbat, but because Headbat's in hand, you could just go ahead and add whatever. We'll add a rematch here. And then you want to use Isolde's second effect, obviously, because, you know, sending an equip spell to either get a Guts or a Octo Stretch from deck is like, you know, why not? Of course, we run the one Horn of the Unicorn. We're going to just send that thing right onto the graveyard. It will not get bounced to the deck. We're going to go ahead and summon Octo Stretch. Now, we don't need to summon Headbat because, of course, we have 2 Gokis on the field, but if you didn't, that would be the way you do it. You're going to link them off and go for Jet Ogre. That's the only concept you need to get, is get 2 Gokis on the field. And then you kind of search for rematch and finisher off of the 2 Gokis you sent to the grave. If you already have one in hand, you can go for an Iron Claw, which can give an extra 500 during damage step, which, hey, every 100 points counts. But if you don't have it, those are the main 2 you're going to search if going second. Only real difference if going first is, instead of searching rematch and finisher, you'll search rematch for this turn and then rematch for turn 2, so that you can kind of go into your OTK aspect on turn 2, because you can't OTK on your first turn, obviously. So yeah, you're going to add, you know, since we already got a rematch and Iron Claw, we don't really need to do that much, so we're just going to add that to hand. We'll go ahead and rematch. Obviously, we bring back one of the level 1s in Suprex, whichever. Either Octo Stretch or Guts and Suprex. I'm not going to bother bringing them out. You get the general concept. And then you're going to just kind of link all 3 away. It and Jet Ogre for a link 4 Gouki monster. Now, in this situation, because they have multiple monsters in the field, you want to go for Master Ogre. Master Ogre has the simple effect that all that really matters is it can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. This is key, and it's beautiful. And then pretty much all you got to do to win at this point in time is just point and click. Oh yeah, Jet Ogre's effect will activate because it was sent to the grave. It gains 500 attack, so it goes from 28 to 33. And then finisher activates, gaining him 1,000 times his link, so he gains 4,000, going to 7,300 attack, I believe. Yeah, 7,300 attack, and he can pierce. I don't care what monsters you fucking have on the field, 7,300 for each attack, even though only Gokis can attack this turn. And keep in mind, you do have Iron Claw in your hand, so you can boost him up by another 500, making him 78 if you wanted to. You could have also discarded Headbat or special summon Headbat by discarding Twist Cobra, giving him another 800 if you wanted to. You could have just made him godly. Okay, second OTK combo. If they only have one monster, or one monster that could somehow interrupt your process and then another monster, or, as I said, one monster and a back row that you're worried about. Or direct attacks. This is how you go for direct attacks, too, if your opponent just breaks and doesn't summon anything. So very little monsters, 1 to 2, or just kind of like a complete field. This is what you're doing. As you see, it's a brand new hand. You're going to summon Junk Forder because it can special summon from the hand. We'll go ahead and set Shades of Brigadine. We'll go ahead and summon Guts. Special summon Butter Spy. Opened with finisher and rematch, so you don't really need to search too much here. You're going to go ahead and link off anything in the Gouki, really. And this will, of course, summon us old like before. This is the one route where you cannot go Gouki. You have to go the Assault route, and you will see why when we get there. It only really works for if you go for Power Load Ogre, Giant Ogre, or Master Ogre. If you are going for Blade Ogre, and this is the Blade Ogre combo, you have to go the Assault route, period. So, of course, you're going to chain it where Assault searches Twist, and Headbat gets searched by the Gouki that was used, in this case, Guts. Headbat is searched because of its effect. And, of course, you'll send the equip spell to summon, since you already searched with Guts, you'll go ahead and special summon Octo Stretch so you can get another search. That's the beauty of having 2 level 1s, 2 Guts, 2 Octo Stretches, both being Assault targets. Okay, you're going to, at this point in time, I guess if your play was completely hindered at some points, you could have shaded and Butter Spied for a Power Load Ogre, or for if you link them into something like a Link 2, you could have possibly gone for Avermax. You reveal Headbat here, target, Octo Stretch, discard Twist, special summon. And obviously, because you do this, Octo Stretch will gain 800, but that part don't matter. You're gonna summon Jet, sending those two to the grave. That doesn't matter. You're gonna rematch. Well, actually, you get the search first. Octo Stretch and Headbang get a search. You already have the key cards you need, so just go ahead and add the other rematch to hand. And since you have it, add an Iron Claw to hand. Always good to add it if you can. Remember that 500 boost is always nice. And at this point in time, you're going to rematch and bring back 2. Keep in mind, if you are forced to go first, you want to go for the Assault target, the Assault combo, but instead of searching for rematch finisher, you search for rematch for your turn, rematch for the next turn, like I said a minute ago, and then you go for Power Load Ogre if you go against back row decks like Guru and Ultrageist, and you go for, if it's Monster Mash decks like Spiral and Orcus, you'll go for Giant Ogre. And then you kind of end with that on board if they evenly only the Assault goes away. And then, on your following turn, rematch again and kind of go for the OTK searching up finisher. So first of all, you rematch your 2 targets. Now you are going to link off one of your targets or one of the monsters you have on the field for an Isolde. Not for an Isolde, for a Nightmare Unicorn. This is crucial because he has a downward arrow. If you have a spare card in hand, like if I wouldn't have set the Shades of Burgadine, or if I wouldn't need the Iron Claw, you could discard it to spin a card. That's optional. You don't have to. If you know you can bait out something like a Permanence Veiler or something, that's cool. But do be cautious because something like an Ogre can completely destroy this whole entire plan. You need the Unicorn to survive. Whether its effect gets negated or not, doesn't matter, but it needs to survive. Then you're going to link off the other Gouki and Jet Ogre. Excuse me. And this is going to allow you to bring out your Link 3 Blade Ogre, who you will co-link with Unicorn. He has an up arrow, Unicorn has a down arrow. And because of Jet Ogre going to the grave, Blade Ogre will gain 500 attack, shooting him up to 2,900. You'll activate this, he'll gain 3,000, going to 5,900. Now, Blade Ogre's effect will activate where he can tribute 1 monster he points to on either side of the field, in this case Unicorn, and now he can attack twice. So provided you had spent one of their monsters away and they only have 1, you will guarantee 5,900 to the face for 1 attack, and then as long as the opponent's monster is in over 3,800 attack or defense, because you pierce, that's game. Because keep in mind, all you need is 2,100 with that 59 to OTK. And that's kind of the beauty of it. It's just easy to kind of clean out. You're going to go for one of 2 options. On occasions, you can go for Giant Ogre and OTK for 8,000 if you want to, do some brownie points. And if you know your opponent has a lot of monster effects that can activate on your turn when you're going for it, that might be the better route to go if you can boost them up high enough. Twist Cover can help. Iron Claw, obviously, could have helped here too, boost them up even more. But, I mean, these are the 2 main ways you're going to OTK, while Power Load's going to protect against Power Load's going to protect against back row decks, and Giant against monster effects. So, let me know what y'all think, and if you like, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, peace out, rock on, duels coming soon.